Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day, and that will start with Rainman. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5 for Rainman. Do it every Wednesday at this time, unless something goofy happens. You could win cousin subs for a year. We have a competition every 6 months. This one will run till the end of June. 1-800-990-3776. Even if you suck, and I'm not encouraging you to, but you automatically get a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs just for being the specific competitor. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. I guess that is technically the Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. 1-800-990-3776. Right now, it is the line for the Rainman competition. Rainman is brought to you by, of course, Cousin Subs, because you could win Cousin Subs for a year worth about $300, and you automatically, as a competitor, 1-800-990-3776, caller 5, win a $25 gift card. There can't be a better competition in the world. I don't want to do that. Well, maybe I do. If I'm caller 5, I win a $25 gift card, even if I'm no good. And in addition, Rainman brought to you by Cousin Subs and also by Saganiac Planning. The name's synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, but I have improved how I mention Saganiac Planning because I did some injustice to them. Well, how can they be that good? Employee benefits, it's complicated. They've been doing it well for over 50 years. 50 years. Imagine how good you'd be at anything if you were good at the beginning, and now you've been doing it well for over 50 years. And they have the right size of company. They're small enough to take care of you, but they're large enough so that when they go to the companies they deal with, they're going to treat Saganiac Planning well because they're big enough, and that means they're going to treat you well, being represented by Saganiac Planning. And a phone number you can remember. Saganiac Planning, your name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, doing it well for over 50 years. Phone number, just remember 783-262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
Because it is getting close to Don Hudson, some may not even know who Roger Maris is. Roger Maris for the New York Yankees in 1961 set the new record, broke Babe Ruth's 60 home runs in a season and hit 61. We have attempted to find something better than Roger Maris for 61 that is more recent than 1961, which I'm aware is about 60 years ago. It's too old. So we thought, who was it that came close to hitting 60 home runs?
Aaron Judge?
Yeah, Aaron Judge, I think 62. He did not help us out. But if there's something else that you think is good enough, 61 to use other than Roger Maris, certainly open to it. Joining us now is Sean in Sun Prairie. Sean, you're on Rainman. Your Rainman resume, please.
Tied for the lead, not picked in the drawdown.
Ooh. Yeah, I've felt that we should do something for someone who's tied and loses the tiebreaker, but I have not gotten any support. So basically, you just got screwed. Maybe the next time it'll be better. Our leader.
Tony Smith.
What?
Love him.
Excuse me?
Tony Smith. Love him, bud.
Where did that come from? Joe in Milwaukee is the leader.
That picks it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, he picked it then? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe Milwaukee is our current leader with 7 correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, back then Tony did pick it.
He picked the numbers,
was back
yep.
before they decided that a 1-hour Homer show was better than a 2-hour Homer show. But anyway,
Correct.
Yeah, you're correct. Nice history lesson. I believe, Sean, you are also the president of the Institute of the Homer Hour, correct?
I am indeed.
Yeah, so anybody that goes on Twitter, whenever I go to the Institute, which because we're important enough to have one, Sean does a great job at doing research on various things because I admit and to be challenged. Twitter will get you if anything you say is wrong. Did you come up with Andrew Brandt, his prediction for the Super Bowl? Somebody else did, and I literally want to dedicate every show for the next 6 months to Andrew Brandt. Now, I know he's from Philly, but his prediction of the Super Bowl was so accurate that it's just hard to believe. And I'll replay it. He said that Philadelphia would win easily 31-16, which they did, and then had predicted that Mahomes would have one of the worst games of his career. He predicted that, and he nailed that as well. So in terms of the greatest predictions, I believe it's an even better prediction than Joe Namath, who predicted the Jets would win in Super Bowl III, because he had the ability of knowing that the team, his Jets teams in the AFL, might have been better than people thought because they were not playing against the NFL teams yet. That could be an explanation. There is no explanation or reasoning why Andrew Brandt could be so perfect with that prediction. And I believe, and no one has come up, that he's the only person of all, and there are millions now predicting the game, that had it perfectly as he did. So Andrew Brandt, who at one time worked for the Packers, he was kind of their he was their money guy, cap guy, and then I don't know whatever he did that irritated, I think, Ted Thompson and cost him his job. But I could continue to speak on the greatness of that prediction. What, Sean, since you are the president of the Institute, would you say is one of the great predictions, if there's any that you can remember? Pebble, do you have any? There's no way anybody could see that come. Anything, any sporting event in general.
Not at the top of my head, no.
Yeah,
that was pretty good with the Eagles, though.
So work on it. Yeah, Eagles win big, and Mahomes have maybe the worst game of his career, one of which he did. So I've had some interest to have him on the show to talk about that, but I just want to honor him until then. All right. So I told you all about Rain Man, and it's our first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. Saganiac Planning, a great supporter of Marquette. Thus, we give them the question. Start a 1 of 15 questions, 2 minutes. You ready to go, Sean?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. How many men's basketball Final Fours for Marquette?
3.
Correct. How old is Patrick Mahomes?
27.
Incorrect. How old is Jordan Love?
26.
Correct. How many Super Bowl appearances for Mahomes?
5.
Correct. How many years has Mahomes been in the NFL?
7.
Incorrect. How many years has Jordan Love been in the NFL?
6.
Incorrect. What player for the Eagles tied the record with Ken Norton Jr. for 3 straight Super Bowl wins? You got no chance.
Pass.
In Super Bowls, 122 passes and never had one intercepted. Name the quarterback.
Brett Favre.
Incorrect. A quarterback, he was Super Bowl MVP, and he threw for only 119 yards. Name him.
Trent Dilfer.
Incorrect. He threw 8 interceptions in Super Bowls. Name him.
Tom Brady.
Incorrect. He holds the Super Bowl record for a quarterback in one game, 72 rushing yards.
Colin Kaepernick.
Incorrect. He holds the Super Bowl record for a quarterback career, 6 fumbles.
Pass.
He holds the Super Bowl record for a game, 90 punt return yards.
Desmond Howard.
Correct. Who is the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Nick Sirianni.
Correct. A Packer, he's tied for the Super Bowl record, 4 field goals in a game.
Super Bowl?
Yep. I'll give it to you.
Mason Crosby.
Mason Crosby is incorrect. These might be too hard. We will see, because I have you down for 5.
I have 5 as well.
And you were 3 of the first 4. Either you didn't do...
Well, a lot of Super Bowl ones.
What?
A lot of Super Bowl history.
Yes, it was. Because the Super Bowl was last Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. How many men's basketball Final Fours for Marquette? You nailed it. 74, 77, 2003. How old is Patrick Mahomes? Tell him, Pebble.
29.
29 is correct. How old is Jordan Love? 26. You got that right. Just wanted everybody to know the difference in their years is 3. How many Super Bowl appearances for Mahomes? It is 5. He's got 5 games and he's won 3, I believe. Is that right?
Correct.
How many years has Mahomes been in the NFL?
8.
8 is correct. How many years has Jordan Love been in the NFL?
5.
5 is correct. I'm not feeling so bad. If you get this right, Pebble, I'll get you a certificate at Buffalo Wild Wings, which you like. What player for the Eagles tied the record with Ken Norton Jr. for 3 straight Super Bowl wins?
Yeah, I have no clue.
He's a backup lineman. He played, obviously, for Kansas City the last 2 years, this year for Philadelphia. Darian Kennard played college football at Kentucky. The only game he played in, I think, this year for Philadelphia was when they benched all their starters. This one I'm a little disappointed, Sean, because I know Pebble's going to get this. In Super Bowls, threw 122 passes and never had one intercepted. Oh, geez, this is bad. Joe Montana.
There's a lot of quarterbacks.
What?
A lot of quarterbacks.
A lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah. This one was hard. A quarterback, he was Super Bowl MVP, and he threw for only 119 yards.
Roger Staubach?
That is correct. Nicely done. I thought maybe Bob Greasy, because when they won one game, he threw like 7 times. This one I thought you'd know. Pebble, I believe, will get it. He threw 8 interceptions in Super Bowls.
John Elway?
John Elway is the correct answer. This one, come on now. He holds the Super Bowl record for a quarterback in one game, 72 rushing yards.
Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, yes, he did it Sunday. This one I didn't know, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
He holds the Super Bowl record for a quarterback career, 6 fumbles.
Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes is correct again. Nicely done, Sean, on Desmond Howard, 90 punt return yards, and he returned a kickoff for a touchdown too, right, in that game?
Yep.
All right, easiest question ever. Nick Sirianni, coach for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
This one, I'm not sure about Pebble. A Packer, he tied for the Super Bowl record 4 field goals in a game.
Don Chandler?
Don Chandler is correct in Super Bowl II.
Dude.
All right, Sean, do you feel like you should have done better based on what Pebble did or not?
I would have gotten 2 more. I should have gotten Jordan Love's age and the number of years he's been in the league. But other than that, no, it was some deep cuts in the Super Bowl records. Well done.
All right, now I get to the one question I want people to remember. I think you'll always remember one. Maybe you got it wrong, or because you thought the question is good. I guess if I have to pick the one I want people to remember, they're kind of 2. Patrick Mahomes holds the record with 6 fumbles, and Jalen Hurts 72 rushing yards, more than any other quarterback in Super Bowl history. But maybe it's just because of the last game. Any of the ones, or Joe Montana. Think of that. 122 passes, not a single interception. When they talk about the GOAT, this is when you know you're old. When you talk about a GOAT quarterback and you're not mentioning Joe Montana, you don't have the right to discuss GOAT. So, because he may not be the equal, but he damn well better be talked about. 4-0 in Super Bowls, 122 passes, never had one intercepted. And I think he also has... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the best stat out there, and I sent it to you as part of the answer to Patrick Mahomes' halftime rating during the Super Bowl, 10.
But you know what
10
it ended up?
Points.
Was that his quarterback rating or
Probably.
QBR? Which one?
That was his rating.
Yeah, because his rating, I think, ended up in the 90s. That's how good he was in the second half. Yes,
2 interceptions and 30 yards for 10.
Right.
10.
No, and I don't. I just want to let you know, Sean, who's the president of the Institute, you have a job, and you know what your job is? Is to find out the reason for Mahomes' level of play. I'm not buying the Philadelphia Eagles defense as good as it was. I want something more. You will find it. There has to be another reason. I don't know what it is. I'm not starting a controversy or a conspiracy, but it is not enough.
He just had a new kid like a week before.
Okay, that's possible. That's possible. But there's something, and there has to be something else. Why? Because he's too good to play that badly, even for a half. And maybe if there's something out there, maybe the kid was up all night. I don't know. You just, Michael Jordan goes 1 for 12 shooting jumpers in a finals game. You're going to go, something's up. That's not possible. It's possible for other people, but not for him. That just as you said, there is no way that anything as simple as the other team's defense can explain the number you just gave for Patrick Mahomes. There was something else going on, and I don't know what it is yet, but Sean, president of the Institute, will give us an option, I would say. I'll give you 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Because if there is something, you know what? Somebody's going to mention it. Yeah, somebody will mention it. Not yet. All right, thanks, Sean. Sorry you didn't do better.
Thanks.
Thanks for being the president of the Institute. And he puts all the stuff up on Twitter. I wish I had more challenging members of the Institute, but Sean makes me think why. He does it fine. 5, our leader is still 7, correct?
That's correct.
Think of that. In the Super Bowls, 122 passes, 0 interceptions. Yes, his name, Joe Montana. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
The ride continues to deteriorate. It is getting pretty nasty out there. We've got spinouts and crashes all over the place. We're looking at about at least 10 or 11 accidents, spinouts, cars in ditches, etc. So that's going to be the word of the day. Extra caution. Take it easy, take it slow, and make sure you have your headlights on. It's going to help everybody see where you are as well as you be able to see. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, a winter storm warning until 3 in the morning tomorrow morning. Tonight, snow ends with the cold dipping down into the 14. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 19. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Ben Brust here because you need to win the ultimate Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. To register, go to welkesdatenight.com for your chance to win a bouquet of flowers courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. On top of that, spend a beautiful night in the city watching Milwaukee basketball take on Miami on February 23rd. Register to win a wonderful Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. That's welkesdatenight.com. Register now through February 12th.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale Friday. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Tickets on sale Friday at brewers.com.
Are things getting a little stale? Need to bring back some excitement? Rekindle the romance and love your ride this month at Cunis. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis dealerships are showing the love with new vehicle specials you'll adore at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. From the affordable Buick Envista SUV to the rugged GMC Sierra pickup, they have vehicles for every budget. Thinking pre-owned? Visit your local dealership website for a sweetheart deal on one of our 10 pre-owned super specials and swipe right for service specials on brakes, tires, and oil changes.
I'm Brian Brian Bohm, General Manager of Cunis of Oak Creek.
And I'm Bill Eater, General Manager of Cunis of Greenfield.
We would like to invite you to take advantage of these great monthly specials.
And remember that your vehicle will be covered by our exclusive No Fear lifetime powertrain warranty, included with new and qualified pre-owned purchases.
Call or stop in today for your VIP appointment.
Love your ride. This month at Cunis. Start your search online at CunisBuickGMC.com.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone levels in men have plummeted by 25% in just 2 decades. That's why you're struggling with energy, muscle, and drive. But here's a game changer. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments boost testosterone by 30% on average. Imagine reclaiming the vitality your grandfathers had. Picture turning heads, dominating your career, and feeling unstoppable again. Don't settle for today's normal. Seize the day at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Honoring Andrew Brandt for the greatest prediction in the history of the Super Bowl, better than Joe Namath's prediction of the Jets beating the Colts in Super Bowl III. Andrew Brandt, 31-16, Eagles over the Chiefs, and, quote, I predict Mahomes will have one of the worst games of his career. It won't just be a subpar game. It will be a downright poor game. Oh, man. I hope I have one of those. Good afternoon, Jason.
Are you going to have him on the show?
I'm thinking about it, yes. I'm thinking of honoring him for an entire week before I get him on. But
okay,
yeah.
I mean, he's if you don't have his number, I still do.
No, I've had him on before. I know him. He, I don't know. The times I've had him on, sometimes he just talked too much and he didn't say anything that I found that compelling. But this.
Well, you're a tough grader.
Well, okay. When you have only an hour and you have Jason, when you have all the people I have, I'm sorry. I've told other people you didn't make the cut. Now, if I had
TVD,
if I had 2 hours, then Andrew Brandt would make the cut. But 1 hour's, sorry. However, when you do this, but anyway.
Well, in fairness, we squandered an entire segment yesterday with John Anderson and me, with you not knowing what a decoy is. So it's not like all of the programming is high quality all the time.
Yeah, nicely done. I'm glad you brought that up. That was really necessary to make people aware of that. If they didn't, they can go. You could have said, go to WisconsinOnDemand.com, and you can listen and confirm for yourself how bad it was. All right, let's get to, because everything is important as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. Isn't it all about Davante Adams until it's determined where he's going? Or the Jets haven't released him yet, but that's, correct, I thought, assumed. So now it's just, where is he going to go next? Is that too quick, or is that appropriate?
Well, here's the thing. If I'm the Jets, I'm hoping that there's enough interest that I can hold on. Because look, what's interesting about Davante's contract situation is that he adjusted his 2024 compensation to make it more salary cap friendly for the Jets when they acquired him from the Raiders, but he left 25 and 26 the same, and those there's not like a built-in roster bonus that requires, you to make a decision like a lot of other contracts do. Instead, it's just got these astronomical $35 million base salaries that was designed for him to get another extension or be released by the Raiders when they originally signed that contract. So in his case, there's no date of, we got to trade him by this date, otherwise we got to pay him this signing bonus. So if I'm the Raiders, or if I'm the Jets, and, I don't know if the Packers are interested or not. I just know that, Davante's open to that reunion.
Wait a minute, Jason. The Packers are interested. It's just with
I
what
don't know
guideline?
that for a fact.
Really? Well, why would they not be interested?
Well, again, that's different than knowing for a fact that they are interested, isn't it? Why wouldn't they? I agree. Why wouldn't they be interested?
Now, the situation might be that it's impossible. I guess they could easily say we're interested in everyone. Go ahead.
Right. And so, more importantly, I know that Adam Schefter, who obviously knows contract stuff way better than I do, said that he expects Davante's number to be $16 million. So if you sign him to a 2-year, $32 million deal if he gets cut, and you guarantee a little more than the $16 million for the first year, maybe that's the number that he gets. But what my point was going to be is, if I'm the Jets and Jeremy Fowler is saying that the Raiders and the Chargers and the Rams might be interested, the 49ers moving on from Deebo Samuel might be interested, and those are all places that Davante would also be open to going, then what I'm hoping for is for there to be so much interest in him that instead of releasing him, I can get a draft pick for him, right? And then how does that change the calculus for Goody? Is Goody going to want to give up a 5th-round pick to get him back? I'm not sure.
Really?
Is he more likely to? Yes.
A 5th-round pick?
How he is you know how he is with draft picks. So if he's able to get him for nothing in terms of draft pick compensation, because if they release him, remember, he also is not technically an unrestricted free agent, which means that he doesn't count into the compensatory pick equation. So he doesn't hurt the Packers in that department, whereas signing both Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney last offseason, I'm guessing they're not going to have – I haven't looked at it. I know there's people that know this way better than I do, but I'm guessing that they're not going to have a whole lot of compensatory picks coming their way. So if he's released and it's a free-for-all, then the other part of the supply and demand would be, are there going to be teams that would pay him more than Goody would be willing to pay? Because I think throughout the course of Goody's time as the GM, there have been instances where he didn't make trades because he decided that the compensation was too rich for his blood. And there were guys that he didn't sign or re-sign because the competition for their services had them commanding more money than he felt they deserved to be paid. So I say this all the time because I feel like people, just because compared to Ted, it feels so different, but he is way more Ted than he is Ron. And because of that, Ted always loved to go. I mean, think about.
Well, Charles isn't that also because Ron didn't have the cap? And when the cap came, Ron said, I'm on out of this. I don't.
No, he had. I mean, he had the. I mean, the salary cap started, I think, in 94 or 93. I think maybe even a little bit earlier.
But he was able to get the players that he wanted, I thought, without any problem with the cap, and then it became a problem.
Quite frankly, now with the way the cap is, I think Ron would. I know he's 86 years old or whatever, but
he'd like it.
I would think he'd like it now because it's so much. There's so many different ways to cheat the cap.
Yeah.
When back then there wasn't. So my point is just that Goody likes a good bargain, and Charles Woodson was a bargain because he didn't have many other suitors. So I think his original deal was, I want to say 7 years, $37 million or something like that. It wasn't bargain basement, but it certainly wasn't top dollar for a guy who went on to become a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
I'm sure he said it. If there'd have been something else out there, he probably wouldn't have been a Packer.
Yeah, again, and not only that, but he was miserable himself his first year here, and the people around him, he made miserable with how miserable he was. So the transformation that he underwent, he and I have talked about that a bunch of times. I feel like it comes up every time he's on with Tausch and me. But it's incredible. Like, that's,
Who does he credit for changing? Anybody?
Well, I think part of it was he just realized, given what because remember, it's not like when he was with the Raiders, they weren't successful, right? They went to one Super Bowl. They got cheated out of another one with the tuck rule. So it's not like he played on Raiders teams like the ones that Josh Jacobs played on. So, I think the culture, I think Mike McCarthy, I think Aaron Rodgers, I think Al Harris, Joe Witt, I think they all kind of wore him down, and he realized, you know what, this is, and I think the biggest thing, frankly, was that, remember, when he arrived in 2006 and really his first 3 years, he was in a different defense. He was in a 4-3 system run by Bob Sanders. So the biggest thing for him was year 4 when Dom Capers arrived, and Dom Capers made him, allowed him to be the superstar that he was.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Davante Adams, because I'm going to hold on to this as to increasing the possibility that Davante Adams comes, and that is the concern about the injury to Christian Watson. If you're not sure when he's coming back or how bad this is going to be or whatever, it seems to me that would increase significantly your willingness to pay more for Davante Adams, though I'm with you that he just isn't going to end up giving any picks. If it gets to that, forget it. But doesn't Christian Watson's situation, and shouldn't it, play a factor in his interest to some degree in Davante Adams?
Yeah, and so should the uncertainty with Romeo Doubs and his concussions during the second half of the season. Like, I'm not saying that I don't know, but Matt LaFleur did not tamp down the idea of concern about 2 concussions in a 7-week span or whatever it was. And you saw him in Philly, that was scary stuff, especially with the Guardian cap on already. And look, the other part of it is both Watson and Dobbs are in the last year of their contract. So there's also, there's questions about what their future holds in that realm. So, look, the problem that I have is that Brian Gutekunst in February of 2022 told us that Davante Adams was a Pro Football Hall of Fame player and that he had no reservations about signing him to an extension because they had done the analytics on Pro Football Hall of Fame caliber players, and they are still very productive into their 30s. And he was 29 years old at the time of that trade. And I'm not saying that Goody lied to us.
I am.
But he went from saying that this guy is a Hall of Fame caliber player and we want to have him here long term, to less than a month later,
lowballing,
franchise tagging him and trading him to the Raiders.
Right. If he believed, and I said this when I was on your show, if he believed that, there's no way he would have acted the way he did, right? The two can't both exist.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. But again, I don't know what to make of, like,
I can tell you, Goody lies and doesn't care. His job is not to tell the truth to the media. His job is to do whatever is necessary to do the best for the Green Bay Packers. And telling the truth to the media is irrelevant. What he wanted to do clearly was to let everybody know that Davante Adams was really good for whatever purpose. I don't know, but it was not what he
drive
really.
Up the trade compensation.
Oh, yes, but it was not what he believed. Because there is no way he believed that, given the other information you that he would have acted the way he did. That's an even harder try to figure out than the Chiefs losing by 100. No, there's no, right? I mean, you can't. You work real hard at it, and even if he hadn't lied in the past, I just think Goody's approach has always been the truth is whatever I say is to best serve the Green Bay Packers. The truth?
Yeah.
Forget that. I need to do that in private with the people that are important. You want to join that club?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, again, he never said, I think he would have the plausible deniability of saying, look, I never said we were definitely signing him.
I agree.
I said we have to weigh the risks, and there's a risk to signing him when he's going to be 30, but as he himself said, Goody said, there's also a risk to not signing him and what he does to the team. And I think it's fascinating that Tausch, of all people, who believe that, Goody won that trade in a landslide, now, because they haven't been able to have a number one wide receiver emerge from the 2022 or 2023 draft classes, Tausch has had to acknowledge that it wasn't a win. If anything, they both teams kind of lost. So, the idea of a reunion, given their situation at the position, given that, and this was my big thing, given that he would allow them to have a bridge-type number one who is still a legit number one receiver, but also can be there to help these other guys and whoever's going to be the next one, just like Jordy helped him develop into a number one. They don't have that right now. They chose not to have that the minute they traded him because they still could have drafted these guys and still gone through that process, and they chose not to.
Yeah, I would say there was no chance. I just think with Dobbs and Watson, and we talked, I just think there's, if he, and again, he says this not because he believes it, but a sense of urgency requires him to get Adams because of what you said about Dobbs and Watson. If they were all healthy, I would say for sure he's not coming, but go ahead.
Well, and not just Dobbs and Watson. It's also, you don't know whether Jaden Reed or Dontavion Wicks are going to develop into the players that you believe they're capable of being. They both, Reed dropped 10 balls, Wicks dropped 9. I actually think Wicks was playing better than Reed at the end of the season because he had a very steady second half.
But if you had all four healthy, you could gamble on, I still believe one of them will. You don't have 4 anymore. You got 2.5? 2?
Yeah. 2. Yeah, 2.5 probably.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, All Packers all the time. A Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. Will Davante Adams end up playing with the Packers next season? This is like taking Kansas City by saying no. Dobbs and Watson makes me think it's possible, but I'll still go with no. It's 2/3 no and 1/3 yes. Fisco Auto Body, it's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. On Forest Home in Franklin. I don't mention that often enough. On Forest Home in Franklin. They're so good. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Like I said, it's what they do. By the time they're doing it for you, they've been doing it so long. They're so good, it's scary. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. You'll like them, and then you'll thank me. I like that too. Fisco. Remember the name. And I always tell you about American Place Casino located in Lake County, Illinois. I tell you, a half hour south of Franklin. A half hour south of Franklin. 38 minutes if you want to know exactly. American Place Casino. A half hour south of Franklin. 38 minutes to be exact. I could say it again, but I can't because on Saturday, they're going to have the American Place Casino's 2-year anniversary party. $50,000 cash and free play giveaway. Go to AmericanPlaceCasino.com. I don't have enough time to tell you all the different ways that you can win money. Saturday, 2-year anniversary party, starting with a $50,000 cash and free play giveaway. Go to AmericanPlaceCasino.com. And yes, American Place Casino, half hour south of Franklin, 38 minutes if you're specific. Tim Van Vooren, not next, but soon.
More of the Homer Hour coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. Join Homer on the trip of a lifetime to see the many shades of Ireland in August. Text Homer to 800-990-3776 for info.
It's been a rough ride, and it continues to be so. Treacherous road conditions, very slippery. Please be extra careful out there. We've got a crash on the ramp from westbound 94 to Highway 16. We've also got another crash blocking the right shoulder on northbound 41 at North Avenue. We've got one on 43 southbound heading through the Marquette interchange, just about ready to be cleared out of the way. Also, southbound 43 at the ramp from Brown Deer Road, we've got a crash off on the right shoulder there. Looks like we've got just one car and one squad left over through that area. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner, dedicated to helping businesses do business better. Visit jamesimaging.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. A winter storm warning is still in effect until 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Tonight, snow ends cold with a low of 14. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 19. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet. Or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
Get ready for the grooviest celebration of the year. Join us at American Place Casino for our Woodstock and Wildflowers 2-year anniversary bash on Saturday, February 15th. We're giving away $50,000 in cash and free play with winners drawn every 15 minutes from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Participate in our costume drawing for a chance to win $500 in free play. Come celebrate our 2-year anniversary. Don't miss out on all the fun promotions and live entertainment. Peace, love, and big jackpots await. Visit AmericanPlace.com for more details.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
The Dallas Cowboys need to trade Michael Parsons. They need to trade Michael Parsons. They have to, at some point, start taking culture seriously. You don't get closer to winning a championships by getting rid of those players, typically. But when you got somebody that has been as vocal as he has, that has at various points gotten himself in trouble with his podcast, saying certain things about his teammates, about the league, leaving guys out of lists when it comes to top-rated quarterbacks, so on and so forth. There's an opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to show the rest of that locker room that our culture here matters. When you have somebody like Michael Parsons that does all of this talking and routinely steps in it, you have to send a message to the rest of the players that this is not something that's going to be tolerated.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. The Reuben and Mint Shake are back. They can be ordered via the Cousin Sub app or online for a limited time. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, coming up very soon. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, doing it well for over 50 years. Got that covered. Level-funded health insurance experts. They can take care of and simplify all the confusing insurance decisions. Here's why. in addition to doing it well for over 50 years. Small enough to handle your needs with special attention. Large enough to have the clout to make it happen. You got to be large enough so that when Saganiac Planning deals with the companies give them the respect necessary so that you, as working with Saganiac Planning, get all the benefits of that. But they're small enough to handle your needs with special attention. Perfect fit for you. Saganiac Planning. You can remember the number. Remember 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161. This show dedicated to Andrew Brandt, who used to be with the Packers. His prediction: Eagles 31, Chiefs 16. I predict Mahomes will have one of the worst games of his career. It won't just be a subpar game. It'll be a downright poor game. I'm not sure he's seen a defensive line like the one the Eagles have, and they will wreak havoc on the Chiefs line. Better prediction, if you're old, than Joe Namath when he predicted the Jets would beat the Baltimore Colts, who were incredibly good. One of the worst games of his career, Andrew Brandt said about Mahomes, and it certainly was just that. TVV, Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN. What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be.
Kringle
I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry you guys being
turnovers.
serious? You guys can't put two and
I
two
got
together.
it. I did not get it.
They don't call
themselves Racine Danish
I'm
turnovers.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you too, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
That weird Wisconsin weather is here. Snow one day, sun the next. But you can always count on Tsunami Express to keep your car clean. With 6 locations across southeastern Milwaukee, Tsunami Express helps fight that salt, grime, and mud with powerful vacuums and state-of-the-art wash technology. Technology like their best-in-class T2 with graphene for a long-lasting shine and protection. Stop at any Tsunami Express location and get your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Terms and conditions apply. First wash free for new members only.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Wallace for Universal Windows Direct, and they have the Love Your Windows sale going on now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. It's the perfect way to save big. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Dominican High School's Aaron Womack III. The senior basketball standout etching his name in state and school record books by passing the 2,000 career point threshold. The 6'6" Womack is racking up the big stat lines this season, including back-to-back games with 96 total points scored. He's averaging over 30 points a game this season, which is, of course, impressive enough in itself, but he also puts in the work on the boards, averaging 11-plus rebounds a game. Womack is hoping to propel Dominican to the state title for the first time in his career. And when it comes to the next level, Womack will be playing Division I basketball next season for Syracuse. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Aaron Womack from Dominican High School.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. The 18th-ranked Golden Eagles snapped their 3-game losing skid with a 68-58 win over DePaul at Fiserv Forum to sweep the season series with the Blue Demons. Senior guard Cam Jones finished with a game-high 19 points to extend his streak of consecutive games scoring in double digits to an NCAA-leading 41.
Cam Jones, open 3, pure!
There you go.
Sweet! That's the Cam Jones everybody knows.
Marquette improved to 19-6 overall and 10-4 in Big East play. They're back in action next Tuesday night when they host Seton Hall.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans,
for your game day compatriots and your personal cheerleaders. For all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call Eric Pearson. Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The three most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Vooren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports. All we need is talk about the Green Bay Packers every week for how many weeks it is until they start training camp. TVV, good evening.
Good evening, Homer. We should count that up. How many weeks will that be till late July?
I'll let you know by next week because I want to know what's on your top of your list for the Packers. I would say for most it's wondering about Davante Adams. Not guaranteeing anything. Is he at the top of your list, or what would you focus on first and foremost about the Packers into next season? Now,
the combine is the next thing on the NFL calendar. I think that's hard to put your arms around as a Packers fan because it's all projection. It's interesting, but it's projection. I think free agency is more relevant to Packers fans at this point in the calendar year. And I guess that would involve Davante Adams because to me, the Packers are not going to trade for Davante Adams. If they're going to get Davante Adams, it's going to be because he is released by the New York Jets and they can get him without compensating another team. It could happen. It's not going to happen if you're compensating another team. Yeah, it could.
What does the Tim Van Vooren could happen mean?
It's just too much of a break for me from their norm, though. I mean, you're talking about a player who I don't want to say they thought was old when he left the Packers, but that was years ago.
That's the way they acted. That's the way they acted.
Yeah. So it seems unlikely to me. I can understand the scenario and the plausibility of it being staged by a lot of folks.
All right, here's what I want to ask about it, because to me this is huge. If you destroy this, I'm going to move on to another receiver. And that is, even if he likes his young receivers, Goody has reason to be concerned, specifically about Watson. When is he to come back? And I guess Dobbs as well. So it isn't about, if all those guys were healthy, I would say, for all the reasons you said, not happening. Given the situation with those two, that makes me believe it could happen because of the shortage he has. But I'm willing to admit I'm wrong, especially if you don't agree with me in any way, shape, or form right now.
Homer, don't move on from that theory because that's what gives it legs as far as I'm concerned. That's why it could happen. And you're basically committing to Davante Adams a year, maybe two. If you came back with the same core of receivers and they could develop again a year later and you still believed in them, you have too many guys. But you don't have that situation. And the Packers have the inside information beyond wherever we are on the health status.
Where are you on where? Because the Tim Van Vooren scouting bureau is very highly thought of on this show.
Well, but who knows about Romeo Dobbs' health? Can you say that he's going to be a player that they can rely on? You just don't know. And obviously Christian Watson, I think they feel they can rely on him, but it will take time before he gets back. So you are talking about the potential of a gap there with your wide receivers. And that's where Davante Adams or somebody older fits. I don't think T. Higgins fits because you can't get him for just money to T. Higgins. It's like double compensation. That's not how the Packers operate. So it will be somebody like Adams or somebody that they can get that they're just going to pay. And I think that they will do something. They will bring somebody into that wide receiving room under that auspice.
But in all likelihood, it'll be someone known less than Davante Adams.
I guess that's fair. In all likelihood, I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but in all likelihood, as I see it, yes.
All right, and now, as far as because your scouting bureau has been outstanding, and I'm wondering what you might say about Tyron Hopper, but who do you think is most possible next year to be what I call a field tilter and someone at the level of where the top Packer players were when they won the Super Bowl in 2010? Because I'm not sure anybody is there right now. There's no Aaron Rodgers. There's no Charles Woodson. I'm not sure there's any Nick Collins. Some people could, maybe there is. That would be my view. But what is yours if someone is there or closest, or Cooper might make an incredible leap? Take it away.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be an incredible leap for Cooper. I think if he played more snaps, his ratio of impact plays to snaps played was awfully high. So I would say he is definitely a candidate for that. It's also possible that he won't be able to have such an impact once teams figure him out a little bit. But I would think the second year in that system, and if he's healthy, he would be a player that would be on that list. I don't know if Tyron Hopper is a field tilter, but I would look for Tyron Hopper. I know I talked about it a little bit this year. I would look for Hopper to be a guy where people go, oh, didn't see that coming, because he played so little this year. I don't really know where else. I think Tucker Kraft has shown enough that it wouldn't surprise people if he becomes truly
No,
one
I
of
don't
the
care about people. I care about you.
ends.
I want to know you.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I would say he could become a go-to, one of the real top 5 go-to tight ends in the NFL. I would say I believe that. But he's done enough that he wouldn't be a complete eyebrow raiser, because I think you could project some of that. That's where I'm saying to some people. And I would say Jordan Love. How about that? Maybe we're missing the simplest one. Homer, a healthy Jordan Love tilts the field. That would be as big as anything for the Packers.
I'm holding on to, I don't know if I'm right, that he was hurt. He didn't run as much, and I'm not. I made the connection that he could do like Jalen Hurts did in the Super Bowl. That might have been a slight exaggeration, but I think he can run. And if I'm going to buy that he was never really healthy, that would be the best reason I could say it, because he never really ran this last year. Not the same way. Agree?
Yep, you're right. You're right. He did a little escaping, but he very rarely rushed with a purpose. And I think Jalen Hurts runs for the purpose. The Packers saw that firsthand on that Sunday night game a few years ago, and you saw it in the Super Bowl. You saw it in the Eagles season. There's a difference between just escaping pressure and running with a purpose. And I don't think Love ran with a purpose much at all this year. So you could be onto something there.
But do you think he can? Am I giving him too much credit?
I think he can. Hurts is more solidly built.
Correct.
In my mind, Jordan Love's still a kind of rangy, physical specimen. So I always kind of, when I see that running, it doesn't look to me the same way as if you see Lamar Jackson running or Jalen Hurts running. But it looks different than Baker Mayfield, a shorter player. So I think he can. I don't think he got to where he is by running, though, and I don't think the Packers drafted him to get there by running.
I don't mention Josh Jacobs because I can't see how he can play better next year. Wouldn't everybody, wouldn't you, the scouting bureau, yours, be happy if he just did next year what he did this year?
Take it in a heartbeat. Absolutely. 100%. The durability as much as anything else. I mean, that would be a concern if you put all this into Josh Jacobs and he's not ready to go as often as he was this year. That guy answered the bell. He was awesome.
And lastly, I guess I've assumed the kicker's coming back, but maybe I don't follow kickers closely enough. Couldn't he end up going somewhere else?
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't come back, but the Packers are going to have to commit to him. I do think they will be willing to put up money after what they've gone through, though, trying to get to a more stable situation.
All right. TVV, look forward to next week more from the Tim Van Vooren Scouting Bureau. Thanks.
See you, Homer.
Tim Van Vooren. What's next?
Special hour show, special edition show with Ben Bress and Alex Strofe.
Wow.
Talking college hoops.
That is next.
Wrapping up with a difficult ride on